Hello everybody, welcome back here. I am in front of my reliable, trusty green screen, as you can clearly see. Today I wanted to do another sort of ride-through commentary video, but I wanted to do it in a bit of a different way than I have been. I've been usually just talking over, a ride-through video with me in the green screen in the corner, but I wanted to do something a little different today. I wanted to kind of combine a history video with a commentary ride-through video, and that is why we're going to go back in time today, ladies and gentlemen, to a time before Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, to a time before the new update to Pirates of the Caribbean, to a time where Epcot is in what most people would consider its prime. And today we are going to ride an Epcot classic, a Disney World classic, and that is Horizons in Future World. Now, this ride is a bit of a sequel to the Carousel of Progress. I'll probably mention that during the ride-through, and I'm going to stop at various points throughout the video and just call out some historical things that I see, and while also, giving my commentary on the ride, because I've never actually been on it. So, without any further ado, everybody, here is the ride-through / commentary / historical video on Horizons. And now we fade out. Okay, good.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
During the concept design for Horizons, it was not known as Horizons, but instead as Century 3, to recognize the end of the third century of American existence from 1976 to 2076. Over time, the name was changed to Future Probe, which would help more international audiences understand the name behind the ride rather than just Americans. Pretty glad they changed it from Horizons to Future Probe now, looking back though. As you can see here, the queue aesthetic was very similar to other Epcot rides you could find, like Spaceship Earth or the World of Motion. The ride was built with the Omnimover system, similar to rides like the Haunted Mansion or the Little Mermaid Ariel's Undersea Adventure, that one's a bit of a mouthful, where all of the ride vehicles moved at once along a singular belt and were able to articulate and turn toward different show scenes as the ride progressed.
Please take young children by the hand. Look down as you step out onto the moving track.
The doors of your vehicle will close automatically. Please remain seated with your hands and arms inside the vehicle at all times.
Horizons 1 is now departing. Our final destination today, the 21st century.
Haha, looks like I made it to the 21st century before you guys. Anyway, you would start your visit to Horizons by journeying through this room sort of full of clouds, with different lighting effects behind the facade to give it the illusion that they were glowing, before traveling back or forward in time. I don't really know the answer, but you do visit Jules Verne in his little spaceship.
Well, here's the stuff dreams were made of, several hundred years ago. Yeah, it's always fun looking back at tomorrow. Come on, I'll show you what I mean.
So yeah, here's Jules Verne, and at this point in the ride, you're looking toward the future from a past perspective, sort of a steampunk-style future. And that was really the whole point of the ride, to imagine different futures from different points in time. Like there's a retro future, a sort of steampunk future, and then as we get further into the ride, there's the more realistic future that seemed plausible in 1983 when this ride opened.
You know, people have painted some pretty fantastic views of the future.
And some pretty mixed up ones, too.
Easy living. It's always been just around the...
So you don't really get a great view of it, but that woman in the bathtub up there is a fully anatomically correct animatronic. Just thought you guys should know. In case you guys missed it or didn't know, during that last scene you could hear There's a Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow from the Carousel of Progress playing. Now during the development of Horizons, it was always supposed to be, in the minds of the Imagineers at least, sort of a sequel to the Carousel of Progress at Disneyland and now at Walt Disney World, where it would show you how easy it was to live in the future and the amenities that you would find in that future. Where the Carousel of Progress started in the past and brought us up to the present, Horizons would start sort of in the present and then take us into the future.
I guess so, but we always thought the future would be kind of fun.
The original idea for Horizons came from the CEOs at the time of General Electric, and because they had seen so much success at the World's Fair and Disneyland and Walt Disney World with the Carousel of Progress, they wanted another attraction at Epcot to sort of showcase their technology. Horizons was originally supposed to be following the story of Thomas Edison and his electrical inventions throughout the years, and the ones that he didn't steal from Tesla. That's right, everybody, I did just say inventions. That wasn't a mistake. I'm just trying to bring the whole sort of Epcot feeling full circle here. Eventually, the idea for the attraction was changed to represent the future of America, and then again to represent the future of the entire world, because Epcot was supposed to be a permanent World's Fair, not just a permanent exhibition of American technology. The exterior of the ride was built to resemble a spacecraft. If you may recognize from the beginning of the video, it sort of looks like a UFO, but nowadays kind of looks a little bit more like an old shopping mall than an alien spacecraft.
The DNA chain. Life's molecular blueprint. Decoding its secrets is leading us to dramatically improved health. The sun. Today we're learning ways to harness its limitless energy.
Just occurred to me that this video is probably going to get demonetized because I'm using the full unedited sound from Horizons, so that's fine. That'll be alright. I'll be okay.
Colonies in space, habitats where people live and work. This is no distant dream. We're at the threshold now. A computerized view of Earth. Landsat photography, providing vital data on agriculture, resources, and ecological concerns.
So as you kind of see here, it's sort of almost like an early version of Soarin' or Flight of Passage, where there's projections going on the wall in front of you while you're moving through the ride. It sort of gives you a sort of forced perspective feeling of flying through these areas in the future. Or I guess the present, because that really just looked like New York in the 1980s.
For the future up ahead. And while it may look fantastic, remember, it's all possible.
That's right.
And we ought to know. We live there. Come on, take a look at 21st century living. On land, at sea, and even out in space. But let's start off at our place.
So as you can clearly see, here is another sort of Carousel of Progress reference, where you're seeing how easy it is to live in the future through the eyes of this family who already lives in it. This looks more like a retro future you'd find riding, say, Space Mountain or the People Mover at Walt Disney World today, rather than the future that they're going for with rides like Test Track.
One of those desert farms. Wrote this myself. Like it?
How did you and Daddy ever survive us? Oh, that reminds me. We both love the solar berry.
Isn't it something? Send a city kid to college for 7 years and what happens? She becomes a farmer.
Oh, I think agricultural engineer is a little more like it.
Okay, but me, I'll take the city.
Yes, it's always exciting.
But hey, with today's transportation, we're just minutes away from our kids.
It's almost like the same pattern of speech even from the Carousel of Progress in this ride, where they're just like, hey, look at this newfangled refrigerator that we have, where we can store all of our food and the ice doesn't melt for an entire 3 days, or something like that. And of course we have probably the most famous scene in all of Horizons, the Mesa Verde farming scene. And here you can see a sort of forced perspective room with different aircrafts carrying different machines to help grow the plants in Mesa Verde. And let me tell you, living in the same state as Mesa Verde, you can really tell that it's very, very hard to grow food there. So this is extremely futuristic and very, very advanced technology. Where one of the bags in the post show has the words Mesa Verde written on it, again, as a small reference to this.
Very funny. I know it's a party.
Shouldn't your granddaughter be studying instead of flirting with that beach boy?
How about you mind your own business, Harold? She's her own woman, and it's also the future.
Seriously, I know those too. Okay, I'll be expecting you. Good enough. When that Sunset Express heads for the desert, I'll be on it.
You better. Every 10 minutes. Or more. That's right. Now you're all good swimmers. I'm not worried about your swimming at all. And I know this isn't your first dive, but tell me, what's your most important tool underwater? Wrong over. It's judgment. You must use good judgment. And what else must you do, Scott? Swim safely. Follow your diving rules.
Floating cities, they're amazing. I mean, whole new industries have developed in them. And under them, mariculture, all sorts of marine mining, fuels, energy.
And fun. Remember fun?
I'm serious.
Well, so am I. Floating cities have opened up whole new ways for people to enjoy their lives, as well as their work.
Hi, me again. I hate to spoil all the fun you're having here, but unfortunately in 1993, General Electric decided to not renew their sponsorship, and the future of Horizons was really up in the air. Disney decided to toss some ideas around about the pavilion being rethemed into a space-themed pavilion. The building would have been upgraded and rethemed, the ride system would have been completely changed, and the guests would now be in an individual space harness while viewing space stations and space in general, and would control the pitch and yaw of the vehicle. And as they say at Walt Disney Imagineering, no good idea ever dies, and I think when you look at the concept art for the upcoming Avengers e-ticket ride at Disney California Adventure, you know, it looks like people in individual space harnesses flying around controlling the pitch and yaw of the vehicle. So maybe we'll see some sort of spiritual successor to what was supposed to be the spiritual successor of Horizons pop up at California Adventure sometime soon. I mean, whenever they get the attraction completed, of course.
The source of low-cost fuel. Oh, we found lots of good things under our oceans.
And don't forget space. We found lots of good things out there, too.
In December of 1994, without a sponsor for the attraction, it closed and remained empty. That is until, of course, 1999 when it reopened to the public as Horizons. Still, just 4 years later in January of 1999 though, Disney decided that it would be best to close Horizons for good and instead build that space-themed pavilion they had planned all those years before. The building stood empty for just over a year until 2000 when Disney began demolition, and boy, did they demolish it. They completely tore the entire thing down. Not a single part of Horizons was left standing.
Sports and exercise in zero gravity.
It looks like fun.
It is once you get the hang of it.
What is it, Tommy? Look, Mom, they're flying. Why don't you try? I don't know what I'm going to do with you. Don't let go of the motor. You're going to lose it.
Oh, now that's really lovely.
Practical, too. Just think, materials from space for all kinds of industries back on Earth. And that's...
Uh-oh. We gotta run.
Time for our grandson's party?
Uh-huh.
We'll catch up to you later.
Even though the entire building was demolished and probably all of the set pieces, a few props were saved, like the robot butler seen earlier in the ride, and even a derelict spaceship from the ride at Disney's Hollywood Studios at the Backlot Express restaurant. Yep, that is from Horizons. Got that right. And I'm pretty sure you can still see it there today. I mean, not today, but, you know, when the park's open. There's even a mural from the ride called the Prologue and the Promise, which is on display at the Disney offices, but is unfortunately inaccessible to the public and most cast members. So Disney, I don't know what you're waiting for, but just put that mural on display somewhere so we can see it again. Don't stop keeping it to yourselves. You're being a little stingy there, Disney, I gotta say.
Attention Horizons passengers. You are invited to choose your own flight path back to the future port. Please look down at the lighted panels in front of you. Press one of the 3 ride choices: space, desert, or undersea. Everyone can choose. Majority rules. All passengers, make your selections now.
As you can see, this is one of the only Disney attractions with multiple endings, an ending that you get to choose yourself. I think the only other one being Star Tours, because that one kind of changes all the time. And I think the idea for choosing the end of the ride like this is super interesting, something that Disney should really workshop a little bit more with physical sets and now with the invention of trackless ride systems. Imagine a ride system similar to that of Rise of the Resistance or Mystic Manor, where near the end you get to choose which path you want to take and you enter a sort of Indiana Jones style room with 3 different doors, this time leading to 3 actual different rooms and different endings. Now, I don't know how the logistics of that would work or how you'd be able to time it so all the cars return to the station on the same time and there's not too many cars in one room, but I trust Disney on those little details. I'm pretty sure they can figure it out.
Horizons Inner Colony, this is Omega Control. Hold for Omega Transport.
Well, we're almost back from the future.
Oh, it went by so quickly.
Yes, but one of the nice things about traveling into the future is that the journey's just beginning.
That's right.
And I'll tell you something, if we can dream it, we really can do it. And that's the most exciting part.
From all of us, thanks for exploring Horizons. Now, please take small children by the hand and watch your step onto the moving belt. The belt and your vehicle are traveling at equal speed.
And there you have it, a full virtual ride-through of Horizons with me talking your ear off most of the time, spouting some different facts into your ears. Eventually, Mission Space would open in the spot that was occupied by Horizons in 2003. And then, of course, you would get the new mission to Earth in 2017, and now Mission Space remains there indefinitely, but there are a few references to Horizons found in that ride. Like the symbol for the Horizons Pavilion in the middle of the centrifuge found in the standby line, and you can also find the Brava Centauri space station from Horizons in the mural near the entrance to the queue. So what do you guys think? Do you think Disney was right to take away Horizons? Was it looking a little dated to you while watching this video, or will you miss it dearly and pray to the Disney gods that one day Horizons will return to Epcot or any Disney park around the world? I'd love to hear what you guys have to say in the comments below this video. As always, everybody, I thank you all so much for watching this video, and I look forward to the next one, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one. Hit that thumbs up button if you guys liked this video and you'd like to see more sort of ride-along videos like this, and I will see you guys, like I said, in the next video. Goodbye.